thoughts have turned to the adventures that I'm looking forward to, like I do every summer. I know that I'm probably going to have some great adventures and a few misadventures too. And my sister likes to retell this story. I'm going to see her at a family wedding here in a few weeks, so I'll see how her version of it compares to this. I'm almost done hiking the 300-mile Superior hiking trail that follows the north shore of Minnesota from Duluth to the Canadian border. 300 miles, but my story will illustrate how by the time you're done, you've logged more miles than that, almost certainly. I was going to be spending 3 or 4 days on the trail, making 50, 60 miles, and it was noon, a little after lunch by the time I got my gear all put together and I hit the trail. I knew that Leskinen Creek was maybe not 3 miles down the trail, so I wasn't going to go far, but it wasn't 6, 7 in the morning. I wasn't going to make a long day, just a short hike to the first campsite on the trail. And as I was walking down the trail, I noticed, and isn't this always the case, one shoe by the side of the trail. No one ever loses both shoes. There was one shoe. I didn't think anything of it. I was soon at the campsite, and I had a hammock with me, so I was going to search for the best 2 trees between which to string my hammock for the night, and set down my gear. And I realized that the mosquitoes were pretty bad, and darn, if I hadn't forgotten my insect repellent in the car. Well, a good thing that this was only 2.5, 3 miles down the trail. It wouldn't take me, an hour. Like, I'll go back and get that because I'm not going to be without bug spray for the rest of this whole trip. And I went back and I got to the car and I discovered that on the way, hold on, edit the tape. The first thing that I did was I hit the trail, but in the wrong direction. You can forget things when you're out on the trail, just like you can when you're telling the story, I guess. That's the moral of the story. I'd gone around in a circle around the perimeter of the campsite, and I was certain that I had I'd found the way to head back the way I'd come, but no, I was headed down the wrong way, and I knew that because I soon came to a river, and I would have remembered crossing a river because I had to take off my boots. There was no bridge, the water was high, and so I wasn't going to do that because I knew that my car had to be in the back the other direction. But by that time, I'd probably gone another couple miles. So I went back to the campsite, and now I knew which way I knew which way to get back to my car. Well, I did make it back to the car, and I passed that same shoe. And so, yeah, that I knew I was in the right direction. I got the car, got the bug spray, and this time, as I was headed back to the campsite, I couldn't be sure that I was headed the right direction because I thought, this is where the shoe was. But the shoe wasn't there anymore. But about 20, 30 minutes later, I do get to the campsite, and I had left my gear there, so I knew this was the campsite that I'd been at before. I don't know, who's going to, jump me. Maybe a bear. Maybe the guy who, thinks I got his other shoe. I don't know what. But I spent a somewhat restless night. But in the morning when I got up, I realized that there was other gear that I had forgotten. And it's still going to be a long trip, and I think this time I didn't have my stove. So I'm going back again, and this time, on the way to the car, I see the shoe again. And I'm pretty sure it was in the same spot. Now, this is not like a super highway. There's one trail between the parking lot and the campsite. I get my shoe, or I get my gear, and I come back, and that shoe is not there. I marked the spot. It's going to be right by the turn in the trail. That shoe is not there. And I know I'm on the trail because I get to the campsite and I left my gear there again. You know, I never did find out what happened to the guy's shoe, but just one way that what was to be a trip of maybe 50, 60 miles turned out, I think, to be 70, 75 miles by the time you add in all the extras. Never met a bear on the trail, and I hope I never meet whoever that was that had the shoes.